morning and welcome to Cover 2 Cook. We are on episode 53. We're going to be recapping the Thursday night NFL, Friday college football, the start of the college football playoffs. Then we'll be talking about the must-watch games of Saturday for college football and NFL if we have time. We will wrap it all up with our bets. But before I get too far, let me bring on my co-host, Mr. Tim Cook. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. We had some good games Thursday and Friday night. We're going to have some more games on Saturday. My favorite team went 1-1, or teams went 1-1 this week. So we're gonna hopefully it gets better as the weekend goes.
Yeah, you really did kind of have your NFL team play Thursday night, and then your college team play Friday night.
Yeah.
Let's start off with that Thursday night game, Chargers versus Broncos. It seemed like the Broncos were going to come out and just dominate this game, but then the Chargers came back. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I mean, they had a fast start. The Broncos did. They went right down the field, scored. They had a rushing touchdown by Estime, Notre Dame player,
Yep.
And then they came right back. The Chargers came right back. They had a rushing touchdown, but then they got the ball again. Denver did, and they scored, and it was 14-7. This is like everything was clicking in the first half. Everything was doing really well, And then they got the interception by Denver's defense, so they go down the field right before halftime, and then they kind of they pumped the ball away, and then we have everything just went to hell right after that. We have the going into the kicker, as he's trying to catch the ball, he gets blocked into him. They call the penalty, which was a big penalty, because then we got the first play since 1986, a free kick field goal.
Yep.
And Dicker kicked it from 57, and he could have probably kicked it from 67 because it went right in.
Yep.
And it was just like the coach, Harbaugh, had to ask the referee, can he do this? And the referee goes, yeah. And he did it, and he kicked it right through.
Well, and I laughed because Sean Payton at halftime, they asked him about it. And he goes, yeah, we practice this. No, you don't. Piss off. Nobody practices.
Yeah.
At the same time, honestly, I've never, like, when they were talking about this free kick, I'm like, okay, so, and it was just like lined up like it was a kickoff. And here I'm playing fantasy, and I got the guy that I'm playing this week. He's got the kicker, and I'm like, you could have gave him a 75-yard field. I mean, that literally is a kickoff, and you see that goes out the back of the end zone. That's what it was. I mean, obviously you have to have more accuracy, but like, it was a crazy thing to see. But I mean, in the second half, it changed as well too. And I think you were about to talk about that.
Yes, and the momentum totally changed. I tell you what, this Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. McCaskey's, you could have had this coach, and you didn't want to give him the money. This guy is a tactician. He can make adjustments in the second half, and he made adjustments in the second half because that team was a totally different team in the second half. They were throwing the ball down the field. They made adjustments. And guess what, Sean Payton? You didn't. You scored 6 points in the second half. You had dumb penalties. You didn't do anything. They bottled up Nix, and you didn't have any place for him. And it was this game they should have won. I mean, they came down in the second half, kick a field goal. They got the ball first, kick the field goal. You're back up 11, and then it just went to hell. Yeah. They couldn't. Nix. I mean, it looked like Nix as a rookie, and the Chargers was going right down the field. It was like, you're not making any adjustments. You're not giving any blocking for the kid. You're not doing anything. You didn't make any adjustments in the second half. And I was shocked on Sean Payton by not making any adjustments because he's a better coach than that. And he didn't. And Jim Harbaugh is. And I'll tell you what, that team is going to be, I mean, they're in a tough division, the AFC West, but I still feel firmly that this team is going to be for real. Give him his players. This team is for real.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing you saw with Denver is Cortland Sutton being out, or right? Not Cortland Sutton, the corner.
Yes. I want to say Moss. I think it's Moss.
No. Who's Surtain?
Surtain.
Yeah, with him being out, that defense is a whole different defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't blitz the same way, but if you're up 21-10 going in a half, what do you change?
Yeah.
You gave them that free 3-pointers. Otherwise, what do you change out on this? And I think that's the biggest thing was, like, the second half, they came out and just dominated the line of scrimmage. The Chargers on offense and defense. Bo Nix was running for his life in the second half. The running game stopped for Denver. It was like one team actually wanted to play the second half and one team didn't.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. I don't know if I go too much to the coaching. And, obviously there is a lot of coaching into it, but the players, Denver, I'll tell you right now, Denver, you didn't make me think you're a good playoff team. Not after what I saw at the end of that. So,
yeah, I agree. It's just, but the coach has got to make plays up for him to adapt to the change, and he didn't. He didn't do it. They just kind of went, oh, okay, well, like a team that knows that's going to make. They're still going to have to be. They got to be. They have to win at least one of the next two, and they go to Cincinnati, and they get KC at home. Hopefully, Mahomes is not playing them because they'll rest him. But I think Mahomes will play. He wants to play. He don't care. I mean, he's not going to rest. So you got to win one of these next two and hope Cincinnati or that Miami falls on their face.
Yeah.
I think Miami's done anyway. I think it's pretty much up to Cincinnati, which Denver plays next week. So you better come prepared.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're a Denver fan, you're excited to see them make it to the playoffs, but don't have high expectations.
Yeah, and I'm one of them. I don't have any. I mean, I think they're in the right direction with Knicks. It's just he'll get there. They'll get there.
Well, let's move on to the Friday night game. Indiana versus Notre Dame. Indiana's coach, Sig, comes in hot on College Game Day saying, we don't just beat 25 ranked top 25 teams. We beat their ass. We beat the shit out of them. You know what, bud? Fuck off. Yes, I know that's not great language, but I'll tell you right now, as a Notre Dame fan, you guys got your asses whopped, okay? Notre Dame ran the ball on you. They stopped you from playing. 40 points a game, 40? Hey, I was even throwing bets on you because you guys are scoring so many points. What'd you guys do? 3 points until there was 4 minutes left in the game. Yeah. Notre Dame controlled the line of scrimmage, controlled the atmosphere. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see what today's going to look like with these other games, but I would have paid that $1,000 to be there last night. That was crazy atmosphere. But Notre Dame has things that they need to improve on. They're straight up. Whether it's between the defense giving up a lot of yards, Xavier Watts did play last night, and you can definitely tell when he's playing and when he's not. But the defense has to step up more. But the offense on the other side, what happened to running the ball? You get it so good in the first half. What happened in the second half? What did you think about this game?
Yeah, I mean, both teams had turnovers right off the bat within the first 4 minutes of the game. You're going, uh-oh. And Notre Dame started that off, and I'm like, uh-oh. This isn't good. I mean, I know the ball got tipped, but he threw it right. I mean, it tipped right to him.
Yeah.
So, and then Watts got that interception close to the end zone. I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. This is how this is going to start. And then that Jeremiah Love 98-yard run, man, I was just like, as soon as he got to about the 40, I said, he's gone. Yeah. They were nobody touching him. So, I mean, and then they get the ball again, the Irish, and Leonard throws that touchdown. It's 14-9. I'm like, here we go. I mean, we're getting the ball rolling. I agree. They got it to 17-3, and you're just like, okay, they're just kind of playing. I did not like at the end of the game them 2 last touchdowns. Yeah. They have got to shore that up. They have got to get that. And I thought maybe they would use Leonard more in the run game instead of the passing game. And Leonard was passing the ball. That one pass at the end was, I think it's close to the end zone. To make it, I think 27. That was a sweet pass. I mean, he threw it in a dime, huh?
Oh yeah, the one to get to the
one before he ran in for the touchdown. Yeah, that was a sweet pass. He almost made it. He was using Jordan Faison a lot last night too, a lot. So I mean, yeah, I think they went from the ground game and they stifled that Rourke. I mean, he didn't have a chance. They really just bottled him up. And the only thing I didn't like some of it was they got their runs in. Indiana got a lot of good runs in and throwing the ball down the field. But it seemed like when they got close to like the 30 or 20, that Notre Dame defense stifled them, and they just give them field goals. Yes, I definitely agree. The defense that at the end, that was garbage time. Oh, well, I know you weren't a big fan of it, but it's garbage time. This game was over. As soon as Leonard runs in that touchdown, it's 27-3. The game was over. I mean, they had no chance.
Yeah, I wish they wouldn't have gave up the touchdowns because the point spread of 27-3 was just like, we beat your ass. We beat 21 or 27-17 now. And then you get the onside kick. That kind of just pissed me off. Like, finish the game off, Freeman. And you can tell he was pissed. Because there was a couple times there in the sideline, he was just like, what the and he was going off. So I get that one. But I think Notre Dame showed in this game everything that everyone had doubts on. Field goal kicking. hits a 49-yard field goal.
Yeah.
Right? Hits another field goal later on. And then which I got to talk about that field goal before. And then the defense, right? Oh, wait, can Leonard throw the ball? Can he throw? They showed that. And I think that's what we did yesterday was Indiana on paper had no reason to play in this game with us. On paper, nope. But then Notre Dame said, hey, we can handle this. They started showing their assets of we are a fully rounded team when it comes to passing. We can run the ball. We can play good defense. We can kick a field goal if we need to. I think that's what they showed at the end. Now, before that field goal, where Sig calls a timeout, where they were faking it, I was always under the impression that you had to hike the ball between your legs.
Oh, I did too.
He threw the ball sideways.
Right.
And it was like, well, that's got to be a penalty of some type. This is the shit that I love about Freeman, okay? The only guy that's ducking down on that punt and return.
Yep.
I like that shit. Now, at the same time, it's fun when we're winning.
Yeah, exactly.
Playing that bullshit against Georgia if it ain't going to work out. Because in that play, if Sig doesn't call timeout, we don't get a field goal there.
Right. Right. I don't think we get the first down.
No.
Because that's what
it was fourth down stop. So that's stuff that I think that Freeman, I like it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Dan Campbell. I get it. For the regular season, we had to show that we were dominant. Now, we just need to win games.
Right.
So don't be too fancy if we don't need to.
Yeah. Don't be too cute.
I thought Leonard played a great game. Some of his are a little bit questionable, but they were caught, made plays.
Yeah.
I think when we go into this Georgia game, you better be ready to release the ball quick. And that's the problem that I saw in this game was he held onto the ball, and then he would dump it right as he got hit. Georgia is going to have D linemen that can get to you like this. So you better know where you're going with it or what your reads are to get it out of your hands fast.
I agree. Yep.
But I thought Notre Dame kicked their ass. I loved it. I was just hollering. We flew home with 85 on the. No, I'm just kidding. But we drove home. Got home and got to see it because $1,000 is crazy. I kind of wish I would have been there just for the college game day atmosphere.
Right.
There was a lot of rumors going into it that they're going to wear black jerseys.
I did see that too. I'm glad they didn't.
Me too. You know what? You want to win a couple games, then do it. Cool. Yeah. But the first game, and I'm going to say this too. All these people are going to talk about Indiana and whether they deserve or not to be in there or whether they deserve. Let's go see how today's games are before we start.
I agree.
It's a Friday night game before this big college football. I'm going to tell you right now, by the point spread some of these games, they're expecting blowouts for all these games. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that. I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not either.
Indiana deserved everything they got.
Yeah.
Because some of these teams I think are worse than Indiana. I just think Sig kind of ran his mouth a little too much, and I think it just gave bulletin board for Notre Dame.
Right.
And fans.
Right.
Well, let's move on to our first must-watch game today. Starting off right at noon, SMU versus Penn State. Does SMU deserve to be in this game? What do you think about this game?
You know, they both teams are coming off losses in their conference championship. SMU has won 10 straight on the road. SMU has got the great quarterback, Kevin Jennings. One thing about SMU, can't start out slow like you did last time. You start out slow and you'll get blown out. This is not Clemson. This is Penn State. Penn State played tough against Oregon in their Big Ten championship. You cannot start out. You start out slow, you're done. You'll be done early. You know, this will be a blowout. You know, this SMU defense has allowed 20.8 points a game. Penn State has won 6 of the last 7 at home. They'll have Drew Aller and Tyler Warren on the offense. And the defense is really good, Penn State's. They got Abdul Carter. He is a good lineman. He will get after the quarterback. That's one thing about Jennings. He's going to have to get the ball out quickly because that guy will be on top of him. SMU, and then another thing, too, is SMU is going to have to score. I think they're going to have to score quite a bit because like they did against Clemson. I mean, they're going to have to get the ball. They just can't start out slow. That's the main deal.
Well, and I think SMU's defense is going to have to play crazy today. I mean, just crazy good. Like, I think they played really well in the second half against Clemson, but that Clemson offense is not as good as what I think Penn State's offense is. And you got to stop the Tyler Warren. I mean, I hope Notre Dame gets a little taste of Penn State because they only have one person that can catch the ball.
Right.
They have a two-headed monster at the running back. Do not get me wrong on that one. But at the same time, at the wide receiver, tight end, he's a tight end / wide receiver, whatever. That's all they do is they just get him the ball. So SMU, you got to shut that down, and you got to stop the run. The problem, though, is SMU's running attack is very questionable.
Right.
Or, I mean, running defense is very questionable.
Right.
So you're going to have to start out, obviously, like you said, not like you did against Clemson, but at the same time, you're going to have to hold this team down. This one scares me a little bit because I hate Penn State. I didn't want Penn State to be against Oregon, but they played pretty well against Oregon. And if they play that way in this college playoff, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And they have to get to the championship.
Yep.
Or at least
I agree.
So, the other thing, too, about this one is if they do put themselves in a hole, watch out for that. What's his name? Number 11 for Penn State. The defensive player that it reminds me a lot of Parsons. I think
Abdul Carter.
Yes. He is going to be a force to be reckoned with today.
Yes.
And if they put him in a hole, because that quarterback likes to run, and that D end is fast. So I'm ready for this game because I think it's going to be a very defensive formatted game. Yeah. But SMU's defense has to step up, and if they don't, it could be a quick game.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Moving to the next game, Clemson versus Texas. Quinn Ewers versus Cade Klubnik. The last time these guys played each other, state championship, 6A state championship in Texas high school football. Clemson will need to get the running attack going with that Phil Maffa at the same – or I'm sorry, Clemson will have to get the running again. Texas defense will need to step up against Clemson. Now, Texas defense has been looking really good this year so far. But that running attack for Clemson and the way Cade Klubnik just kind of like makes little things out of nothing is where Texas needs to stop that. Stop that in its tracks. Don't let him get outside the pocket. Don't let him try to do too much. At the same other time, will Arch Manning make an appearance today? 2 weeks off since since the SEC championship. You didn't win that game. So now do you start bringing in packages, goal line packages with Arch Manning? I think it's time to start looking at what the future is going to be for Arch Manning kind of bringing in a little bit. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I definitely agree. To piggyback on that, I definitely agree. They're going to have to. I think you're going to see a little more of Arch Manning. I don't know if you'll see a lot of them, but I think they're going to bring in some packages for him. You know, this Clemson defense is going to have to step up big time against Texas. Texas is averaging 35 points a game.
Yep.
Ooh, I mean that's dangerous. Clemson's defense, you know. Well, I mean, that's another thing, too. They're going to have to get to yours and make him flush him out of the pocket. Make him use on that bad ankle, you know. And, and like you said, could we see – I think we're going to see Arch Manning. I think this is going to be – I think they're going to dial some plays in for him, too. So, and in both teams, one team's coming off a big victory in their championship where Texas is coming off a loss. This is a big point spread as well, too. So the Vegas must know this game could get ugly early.
Well, and I guess my other thing, too, is I don't know if Isaiah Bond, the wide receiver for Texas, is playing. Last time I heard he was questionable and not being able to possibly play. That's a huge loss. And also, too, I heard on College Game Day yesterday, but I totally agree with Kirk. It just feels like Texas's offense hasn't got it all together yet. On paper, they look like they should be putting up all these points. And sometimes their statistics look like that, but they played 2 ranked teams this year. Yeah. And the 2 ranked teams they played, they lost. They lost. So I don't know if Texas is that good. I don't know. I just, you beat the shit out of Oklahoma. Well, so did everyone else kind of. Okay? Like, I don't know if they're that good. And I'll tell you right now, the way Dabo has got Clemson playing right now, I'm going to bet on this game later because I think that point spread is crazy. That is crazy.
I think that is the X factor is Dabo. Dabo's been here before.
Yes.
Sark has not been here before. So, I mean, I think Texas got the more talent, but Dabo will have that team ready to play. If I was good to bet on, which I'm not going to bet on it, I like Clemson. Yeah. I think 2 words, Dabo Swinney will keep that team. He will have that team prepared, ready to go.
Well, Sark was in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, but it's still.
But Dabo's been here like 6 years, it seems like.
Right.
He's always got to be here. Well, that moves us to our final must-watch game, the night game in Columbus, Ohio, where College Game Day is today. Tennessee versus Ohio State. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, Ohio State, both teams coming off long breaks. Ohio State, they need this win at home
Yep.
to keep the Boo Birds away from Ryan Day. Because I have a feeling if they don't win today, I think Ryan Day's on the hot seat. I really do. They're like, these fans are like the New York Yankees fans.
Yep.
They want championships, not championship.
Yep.
So if you get beat today at home against this, which Tennessee's good, if you get beat at home, that seat becomes really hot for Ryan Day. I wouldn't be surprised if he resigns if they lose today. But here's another deal I seen. SeatGeek? All the tickets, 42% of the tickets bought through SeatGeek are Tennessee residents.
Yep.
I think you're going to see a lot of orange in that stadium come Saturday night. A lot of orange. I think they're going to bring their fans there. And that's another, kind of also too. The Ohio State fans want a national championship, and they have the team to do it. They just can't put it together for a whole 4 quarters. I mean, that Michigan game, they just didn't. And I think that quarterback Nico Malialava, he's going to have a massive monster game today. He has got cut down on the turnovers, buddy. You cannot be turning the ball over. If you turn the ball over, you're probably going to lose. I mean, you don't fumble. I mean, they have a very good running attack too with Dylan Sampson. Get him the rock early. Just run the ball. Just run it, and contain your turnovers. So
this game too. They talked about the college game day of Ryan Day. They gave his stats, right? His win losses.
Right.
And I'll tell you right now, Desmond Howard, you're setting him up just to because he's a Michigan guy. He trashed him because he was like, you guys are giving someone the benefit of the doubt without hesitation. He has lost games that matter. He wins the games that don't matter. And this game that matters. Now Nick Saban, I thought, brought up a good one. Is you guys can be disappointed, but the best way to come back on that is support. Instead, you guys aren't going to show up on Saturday night. You're going to let Tennessee bring in a home crowd for this game, for a home and then be mad that he's not performing. I just think the way that the negativity has been for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks since, it was 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, yeah.
The negativity of the 3 weeks, Ohio State needs to come out, and they need to come out fast. I think they're going to do it. I think Ryan Day's going to have these boys ready to go because I do agree. I think his job's on the line. I think his job's still on the line. Like I honestly think if he doesn't win a national championship, he still could be fired.
Right.
And I think there's just good coaches out there. I think with the Bill Belichick coming into college football, now it's realistic that there could be NFL coaches that may want to make the trip to Ohio State. At this game too, I think Tennessee's got to get that air raid going again. They got to be able to throw the ball, get the ball downfield, make big plays, take the crowd out of it, things like that. I think the running attack is good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not Julian or Jeremiah Love and
no, right.
You know what I mean? Like it's good, but it's not that good. I think that's the biggest thing is get the ball running and then play action deep and just take the crowd out of it. At the same time, too, on the other side, Will Howard has to perform. He's got all these people just that have talked so much well about him. He's got to perform better. And that's the thing in this game is, can Tennessee's defense get after him? They have the potential to. But if they get after him, I think you're going to look at this game and be like, was it Ryan Day that lost that Michigan game or was it Will Howard?
Right.
Because I just think Will Howard is maybe one of the worst Ohio State quarterbacks they've had recently. And when you name Justin Fields and C.J. Stroud and people like that, like Will Howard's not even in the same category as these guys. So,
and then McCord they had last year wasn't. I mean, he was tearing it up at Syracuse this year, so he wasn't a bad quarterback. It's just they didn't win, and once you don't win, then let's go to the next thing. Tennessee's defense has only given up 13.9 points a game.
Yeah,
that Tennessee defense is good. If they rattle Will Howard and he starts throwing a couple of picks like he did in Michigan, you're really going to hear the Boo Birds come out Saturday night.
Yeah, no, I think I just switched one of my picks right now, right off the cuff, right there. I definitely think so. And I think the way that Ohio State has started games too, like it's been second half, they'll come out. Indiana, when they played Indiana, they had to come back to second half to win the game and stuff like that. So I definitely think but see, this is where the home field advantage just changes everything.
Right.
Because what we saw last night for Notre Dame, it was like, Ohio State's got a huge leg up. Texas has got a huge leg up. And what was the other one?
Penn
Penn
State.
State's got a huge, which they got the white out. But, like, I don't know if the crowd, like, when we hear about SeatGeek coming out and putting stats out about stuff like that, it's like, that's kind of not the greatest.
Yeah.
We'll have to see on that one.
Well, it reminds me of the Chiefs. They had a shitload of tickets when they had their first playoff game last year.
Yeah.
And nobody was coming because they assume they're going to go farther. Yeah. Well, guess what, Ohio State fans? You only get one home game. The rest of them are in neutral site games, farther away. So this is your chance to root out your team. And 42% of the Tennessee residents buy the tickets. Come on, man. You guys got to be better than that.
Well, and you know what? Then shut the hell up. You can't be mad at Brian Day then. You can't be losing. Oh, we lost in Michigan. Shut the hell up. You know what? And we'll never understand that, right? So I want to back up right before, because I feel like there's going to be some Ohio State fans or Michigan fans being like, you don't understand. I get that game is the game, right? They talk about it all year, but go win a national championship. It's not tarnished. I know you lost that game, whatever, but you know what? If you lose this game, then I blame it on the fans.
Yeah.
So let's move to NFL. So we actually have NFL today. So the first two games are actually on TNT Max, and then the last game will be on ESPN to finish this up. But NFL today, and what games are these on? Are these?
I think NBC's got one of them.
Let me look.
I think it might be even NBC and ES. No.
Yeah, it's NBC and Fox today. So
Fox. That's right. Yeah.
Crazy to think about that. College football didn't have, but hey, that's how it works. But today we have the Texans versus the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is expected to play, and DeMarco, whatever the coach's name,
Ryan,
said it's just weird. It seems like the sun just shines a little bit different on Patrick than a lot of us, other of us. I'll tell you right now, that is hilarious. It's not bulletin board.
Right.
It's kind of true at the same time.
Right.
Both offenses has been been disappointment this year. We thought that, oh man, this Chiefs offense, they got better than what. No, and the injuries have riddled them. On the same side, Houston Texans, they would have got Stephon Diggs, they got Nico Collins, they got Tank Dell, Joe Mixon, and it hasn't been that exciting this year. Both offenses have had injuries, but both defenses have stepped up and been really good for them. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, this should be a good game. It's sad that they have to compete, or they're going against the college football playoffs, but this should be a good game because I think Kansas City wants to keep this ball rolling. They want to, they don't want to, if they lose here, now that gives Buffalo, that opens the door for Buffalo, which, there's still 3 games left. But the Texans they've been playing pretty good defense. They kind of, the Dolphins last week, they were going right down the field at the end, and that defense stepped up and intercepted Tua at the end. So I thought that was really good. I think, that's the biggest deal is they're just going to have to play better defense. They're going to have to try to corral with him having the bad ankle. That's going to help that Houston defense too. So, and they got to get Collins going. I think they'll get Collins going. They got to get Joe Mixon going, using swing passes and running attack. So I think this should be a relatively good game.
Yeah, what this game could have been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With how the Texans were projected this year, and then the Chiefs, obviously, injuries have riddled both teams, but the Chiefs are on the edge of being like 9-4 right now, or whatever, right? Like they have won so many close games on luck, whatever you want to call it. It will catch up to them eventually. I just don't think it catches up to them today.
No, I don't think either.
I don't think the Texans have the team. I think there's a lot of confidence problems with CJ Stroud and that offensive. So I think I could see the Chiefs kind of sticking with them and maybe winning on a 1 possession game, or but I don't see the Texans taking this game at all. But that moves us to our other NFL game today: Steelers versus Ravens. Steelers need to get their mojo back. But what do you think about this game?
Yeah, this Pittsburgh's coming off the bad loss to Philadelphia last week, 27-13, and Baltimore, they just dismantled the Giants last week, 35-14. Both teams playing in November. They played earlier in November this year, and the Steelers ended up winning 18-16 on 6 field goals from Chris Boswell, which I have Chris Boswell as on my fantasy team. If you want to kick another 6 field goals again today, you sure can. But yeah, I think this is going to be a defensive struggle. I mean, and the Steelers got to get going. Russell's got to get going. I think Pickens is out again this week too, isn't he? Yeah. So I mean that hurts him because he can't stretch the field. He got I mean he could check down to Firemouth and stuff like that, but they've got to get that because that bottles up Warren and Harris too. So they just put 7 or 8 men in the box and say, hey, beat us on the run.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, and I think this game it definitely has a different feeling than it did that first time they played each other, where I think the Steelers were kind of on a run, and the Ravens kind of just ran into a wall. Now I'll tell you right now, Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Now, is he on my fantasy team? I told you yes. But what Lamar did last week was because the Giants are trash. You will not be able to throw the ball the way you do the rest of the year.
No.
You will not. And Lamar is not that guy, okay? What you showed off was just like, hey, we could do this, so be conscious of it. But they're going to hand the ball off a lot today. Now, I don't know if J.J. Watt's playing. That's another one that on that side.
TJ.
Well, and I don't think J.J. Watt's not playing either because he's retired. Jesus Christ. That's like taking Terrell Owens for your first fantasy pick. Jesus. But it's been a long time. But, yeah, I mean, is T.J. Watt playing? I don't think he's playing. And if he's not playing, or you get pressure on Lamar. So now running attack, I just think in this game, I think one team has mojo and has had a lot of good mojo, and the other team is trying to gain their mojo back with a kind of okay offense. I think the Ravens have to, or Steelers have to run the ball and get Najee and then Warren a lot more touches. But if you get behind, it's hard to give them the touches.
Yeah.
So, I like this game. I'm actually betting on this game. I think you are too as well.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'll watch of it because I will tell you today, I'm back at the mom's house. Okay, so I don't have the multiple TVs on a day that would be probably the best day to have. Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna try to find a way to get this TV to split its screens, whether that means I cut it down the middle and we make it happen.
Right.
But I will be watching more college football today now that Notre Dame won because I want to see what the future might hold for them. I know they got to get through Georgia first, but I want to see if they get past through Georgia. Who else would they play? Because I think they're beatable.
Yeah.
Let's get
also, too, it seems like Tomlin has got Baltimore's number, too.
Yeah.
So that could be another key where he's, he knows how to scheme against Baltimore. And like I said, they played him really tough tough in November. So,
yeah, but I will say this too. It's also nice when you have T.J. Watt on one side to stop. I don't know if you're going to have that today.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I have Boswell as well. So if he wants to kick 15 damn field goals today, I'll take them all.
No kidding.
I need them all. I want to make it.
Yeah.
Let's go to our bets. What do you got for your first bet today?
I have SMU and Penn State. SMU can score points in a hurry, like they did in the AC, but they can't get down early, like I said previously in Happy Valley. Or this could be a game, could be a runaway game. SMU has won the last 3 games as a dog, and Penn State is 1-5 straight up in its last 6 games against ranked opponents. I think Penn State has too much talent, but SMU keeps it close. I like SMU getting to 8.5.
Yeah, I mean the point spreads are huge. I mean, I'm very fearful of that one. It's funny that that's your first bet because I was like, I am staying the hell away from this game. But 8.5. I mean, that's a lot of points to give for teams that you just don't know because of all the conference play. Is the Big Ten that good? We're about to find out today because Indiana did not look good.
Right.
For my first game, I'm actually taking the biggest point spread today.
Ooh.
Clemson versus Texas. I think Clemson comes out and they play a better game than Texas does. I think Texas struggles in the beginning. They might even go down in this game. And then Texas is going to have to fight back to win this game. I think Texas wins this game based on their defense. But I think Clemson keeps it very close. And when you're getting 13.5 points, I'm taking it. I'm taking it all day. I don't care if it's the Giants versus the Texans. I'm taking the 13.5 because it's so many points, almost a 2-touchdown point spread. So I got Clemson 13.5 on this one.
Yeah, I agree. That's going to be. I think that's going to be a closer game than what it is.
Yeah,
I think Dabo will have them ready to go.
What do you got for your second bet?
Pittsburgh and Baltimore. The Steelers have won 8 of the last 9 as underdogs following a road loss. I don't trust the Ravens defense. I really don't. and the Steelers need this win to stay above the Ravens. So I like the Steelers in getting the 7 points.
You know what? I'm going to do a Sody bet since I'm up one, because remember,
okay. Yeah. Yep.
Sody bet on this one, and I'm taking it as money today. I am taking the Ravens -7. I think that the Pittsburgh right now, if it was in Pittsburgh, it'd be a whole different ball game.
Right.
But because it's at Baltimore, it's a Saturday game. It's pretty much I know it's not a standalone game, but it is in Baltimore's eyes, right? It's a standalone game. I think Baltimore takes this game -7. I'll take that. But Rhodes, the Sody bet will be the -7. I'll give you the 7.
Okay. All right.
But I think the way Derrick Henry, they didn't even play him last week. That's a rested 40-year-old man about to come out and play.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, relax. He's 30. He's born the same year as me.
He's like 31, 32. But I get you.
I should make fun of people that are my age. So, what do you got for your third bet?
Did you? Oh, that's right. You did. Okay.
Ravens
I think. That's right. Okay. I think I'm taking Tennessee versus Ohio State. Tennessee, I think Tennessee's defense is going to give Howard all he can handle in this game. I don't think Ohio State is going to start out slow and keep Tennessee in the game. I like Tennessee in the upset. I think Tennessee can win this game outright. But since I'm getting a 7.5, I'll take Tennessee in the 7.5.
Yeah, that one's tough. I was actually thinking of going the opposite way on this way with Ohio State because I think they have to come out and show this. But Tennessee's defense is too good.
All right.
Now, I'm going to go on this game as well. I'm betting on this game. But I'm going the under of 47.5. I think both defenses for both teams are good. They can kind of minimize the touchdowns on this game. I think I could see Ohio State maybe getting 3 this whole game. 3 to 7 points all game. So if you're really risky today, and this is my risky bet of the day, money line, Tennessee.
Right.
I think they upset them fully. I would take the money line on this one, but that's a risky bet. I'm putting my money on it. I got a house to pay for.
Right.
But if you're taking a risky bet today, I think Tennessee actually beats Ohio State at Ohio State.
I do too. Yeah.
So that is our betting. Lots in there. I know it's 37 minutes. We've been here for a little bit today, but we talked college football. So tomorrow when we come back, we got to recap these games, okay? We'll be really quick with recapping them and then also talk the must-watch football on Sunday because a lot of people have fantasy indications in this. We got a lot of playoff indications. I think the NFC North can be wrapped up this weekend, or the AFC, one of them can be wrapped up already this weekend. So we'll talk about the must-watch games for that, talk about how we did with betting. Now, please remember, if you do bet with us, we're just two goons that are betting. So just take our advice and whatever you would like with that. Don't bet if you don't have the money because that's never a good way to do it. But we want to thank all the fans. Have a great Saturday. We will see you on Sunday.